Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there seems to have been a resurgence in Dead by Daylight tier lists. And more importantly, really cringy tier lists. Like, have you guys seen that one on Twitter that was which survivors are racist? And this person who created it had put 4 of the survivors in the KKK level. It was very cringy. It was very uncomfortable. But so I figured that we need to create the ultimate tier list. The tier list to stop all tier lists. Not another one needs to be made. Which survivor does not clean their ass? That is the tier list that we are making today, because that is the only one that matters. If you're thinking of a question of how to rank the survivors, it's which one cleans their ass. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to talk about, really, isn't it? The worst one is just pulls trousers after poo-poo. Wipes, but that's it. Wipes with toilet paper and wet wipe. Runs ass underwater in the shower. Full soapy wash routine. These are our tiers, okay? So let's start with Ace. Everybody knows I'm not a greatest fan of Ace. They're not the best character in the game. Sorry, Spooky Jukes. I reckon Ace is the kind of guy, right, who doesn't clean his ass and instead just like absolutely sprays the hell out of it with whatever cheap cologne he's currently got on at the time to mask any nasty smell. You know, he does that. He pops off to the casino. He gets himself a kebab. He comes back. He does it all again the next day. I would say Ace is probably like Wipes, but that's it. Moving on to Ada, 100% full soapy wash routine. Like, there's no way she would be like anything other than like squeaky clean everywhere. Adam, I think Adam would probably be there. I see Adam as like a very typical, you know, young millennial where like he cares about his hygiene, but not enough to put like considerable effort into it. But I reckon like he's clean. I reckon he's a clean guy. I just don't think he's squeaky clean. Ash, listen, we all know this is where Ash is. You can love Ash as much as you want, but you know Ash is the type who just pulls his trousers up and gets on with his day. Bill's a hard one, right? Because Bill's like your lovable granddad, and you don't want your lovable granddad to be disgusting, but he probably just wipes. Bit of toilet paper in there while he's reading the newspaper and smoking a cigarette. Bada bing, bada boom, he's good to go. You know, his generation, they don't use wet wipes. They call people wet wipes. Cheryl Mason feels like a wipe, but that's it kind of person. Like, she doesn't look grubby per se, but she doesn't look clean either. Obviously, she's gone through a lot. You know, we're kind of judging her on her worst here. But like, she doesn't look like she's had a shower in a while. Claudette is full soapy routine. I would actually say probably more than Ada. Like, Claudette is like a botanist. You know, she's all about health and keeping yourself pristine condition. 100% full soapy wash routine. Botanist, not bottomist. But speaking of bottomists, David's next. Good old David being a bottom, let's be honest. He probably tops every now and then, but he definitely bottoms, which means he's got to have a pretty clean ass. I'm sure I don't need to explain why. I think the fact that he's a bit of a switch would mean that he wouldn't put that much effort into it. So I reckon he'd just run his ass under a little bit. Elodie, all right, listen, everyone knows that Elodie is my main, but hear my argument. Elodie hikes a lot. Elodie's like a mountaineer, she's an explorer. Therefore, she'd definitely know the importance of hygiene. The importance of keeping yourself clean lest you develop swamp ass or some sort of infection. Elodie goes up here. Again, don't let my bias get in the way here. I definitely have thought this through and actually come out with a logical conclusion. Felix, basic white boy, the white bread of the survivors, right? I'm probably going to upset a lot of people here, but I think Felix just wipes. Yeah, he looks like he's well kept, right? He has the exterior image of somebody who really takes care of themselves. But he feels like one of these guys who puts more time into their hair routine than anything else in their life, including their ass. Felix would clean? No, he would want you to think he cleans. That's the thing about Felix. He tricks you into it. And you'll never know he doesn't clean until you've moved in with him and you find his dirty boxers on the floor. That's Felix, down to a T. Don't even talk to me. Feng Min, the gamer. Need I say more? Let's be honest. She's in that tier. Let's be honest. Like, she ain't gonna waste time cleaning her ass too much. She's gonna get the bare minimum done, then she's gonna get back to Call of Duty or whatever it is she's playing at that time. Probably Fortnite. Next up is Gabrielle Summer. Now, Gabrielle's from the future, right? We would like to think that in the future, everybody's, you know, nice and clean. But then all I keep thinking about is every guy character that I've seen in like any alien type film, and they don't necessarily look clean. I would probably say that Gabrielle washes with toilet paper and a wet wipe, or whatever the future version of a wet wipe is, purely because he's in like close confinement with everybody. But I don't think he puts that much effort into it. Surely the future has better ways to wash ass. It's called a bidet. Maybe I should have said that. Oh, there you go. That's a much better way to sum up that category. Anyway, Hattie. On to Hattie. I don't know much about Hattie, but she looks clean. Hattie looks clean, you know. She doesn't look like clean to the point where it's obsessive or she's doing it for other people. She just looks like she takes care of herself for herself. You know, she looks like that kind of person. I'd probably put her up here. Jake Park, my former main. I don't know where I'd put Jake because, again, Jake feels very similar to Felix in like just the basic guy, you know, like a typical guy. He feels like a university guy, which makes me think he'd be like there. Like everyone I went to university with, if they were a guy, like they wiped and that was it. And that was like bare minimum kind of wipe. Jane has a full soapy wash routine, 100%. Jane is like a celebrity. She hosts news. She's on the camera. People see her. She is fully in check with her whole demeanor, her whole hygiene. Jeff. That's it. I don't think I need to explain that one. Next, we have Jill. Jill has had like a rough life. She's been just absolutely battered around in Raccoon City. I feel like she would definitely take pride in her appearance, but to the point where it's because it's something that she can have control over and can influence in a positive way. So I feel like she would have a full soapy wash routine. She comes up against zombies. She comes up against Nemesis all the time. I imagine she scrubs herself clean most nights. Next up, we have Jonah. You know what I've noticed online? People fucking hate Jonah. I don't know what happened or when it happened, but people took all of the hate that they had for Hattie and they just transferred it onto Jonah. The amount of Jonah slander I see online, ridiculous. That being said, I do feel like he's the kind of person who just pulls his trousers up. But I'm not going to be that harsh. I'm going to put him just above Ace. I do think he wipes. I think he's a guy. You know, he's a guy. Would he really put much effort into it? Probably not. Ain't nobody got time to wipe. Everybody got time to wipe. Listen, it ain't that fucking busy in life that you can't wipe. If you ain't wiping, you need to sort your life out. Less TikTok for you. Kate Denson. Ooh. Kate Denson. I mean, Kate lives in Texas, right? Like, is that her law that she's from Texas? Oh, see, I've kind of backed myself into a corner by saying that because now whatever I say is going to be offensive. All right, this is nothing to do with the fact that Kate lives in Texas. All right, that was just a random thing that I've said. But I do feel like she wipes with toilet paper and a wet wipe. Laurie Strode. Now, Laurie, 100% full soapy wash routine. Like, Laurie from the films is like the pristine woman. You know, that's what she was presented as. She's the one who doesn't engage in any illicit activities. She hasn't had sex. That was Laurie. So Laurie definitely also is clean as clean can be. Next up, we have Leon. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for saying this because this will be going on YouTube. Leon gives me bottom energy. All right, I know Leon, Resident Evil 4, does not give bottom energy. He gives top energy to the max. But Leon Resident Evil 2, it's bottom energy, man. I think I put Leon there. It's literally only just missing full soapy wash routine. But I think because Leon has that bottom energy, he's got a wash down there. Whether because he just likes to take pride in his appearance or whether for practical reasons, I'll leave you guys to decide. All right, next up is Meg. Meg, the sportswoman. And Meg, who is probably sweaty majority of the time. Probably there. I don't think she owns a bidet. One, because I don't think she can afford it. And two, because I don't think she cares that much. But I feel like because she's always in the ring and because she's always sweaty, she's got to take more than a basic level of pride in her appearance. You know what I mean? Next up, Michaela, the witch, the millennial. She owns a bidet, right? Like, if Michaela is like pretty on par with every millennial, I would say she's probably up there with a bidet. Probably doesn't use it as frequently as these guys, but yeah. Nancy Wheeler. See, I don't like Nancy. So again, I feel like I'm going to be biased, and I'm trying to not let the bias affect me. You reckon Nancy Wheeler is top tier? Would she be? Ooh. I think purely because of the hand she was dealt. And put her there. I think she probably, she has more than a basic level of hygiene, but I don't think she would have been told or taught to do anything more than this. Next up, we have Nia, who is obviously there. I mean, it's Nia. No offense if you're a Nia main, but come on now, it's Nia. Like, of course Nia's there. Next up, we have Quentin, the gremlin himself. Also probably just pulls up their trousers. He's got to live that gremlin aesthetic, that little goblin aesthetic. Rebecca. Now, Rebecca is very young. Like, she's like, what, 16 to 18, something like that when we meet her and she's in the games and stuff. I think she's meant to be 18 in DVD. I feel like Rebecca is, like, probably there. I would say probably just underneath that. Like, she cares about hygiene, but I just don't think she's old enough to fully appreciate it yet or to fully go into it. She just seems like a child, and children are dirty. Next up, Renato, one of the new survivors. I know next to nothing about Renato. I hope I'm saying his name right, by the way. I apologize if I'm not. He seems like a normal guy. He just seems like an average guy. I might put him there. He'd probably assume the wave took care of it. But like seawater and all of that, you'd want to wash that out of your ass, surely. You don't want that just kind of knocking around everywhere. Next up is Steve. Again, probably going to upset a lot of people with this one. But Steve is a high school guy. And he starts out as a bit of a douche. He's probably there. Purely, again, because, he's from 1980s America. He's a guy in high school. Think about it. If you grew up in, like, around that time in America, were you ever taught to do anything but wave? Next up, Thalita. I don't know anything about Thalita. I'm assuming she'd be very similar to her brother. So, there. On the same level, but I do think just purely because of the fact that, and listen, I don't mean to be sexist here. This is literally what society teaches us. I do think the fact that she's a woman, she probably puts her a little bit far apart. Again, don't mean to be sexist, but like speaking as a guy, we don't really get taught to wash our asses and stuff. Like the amount of guys who, for example, think that when they're in the shower, they can just let the soap wash down their body onto their legs, and that will take care of cleaning their legs. Like, if guys ain't washing their legs, they ain't gonna wash their ass. Next up, we have a Tap. I would say he probably just wipes. Where would we put him? Probably just below Bill. He's an older guy now. He takes care of his appearance. I think as you get older, you just naturally start to care about your hygiene and your appearance a little bit more. He's not too old where that's gone out of the window, but I definitely think he's probably sitting around there. Next up, we have Vittorio. Wow. Listen, Vittorio kind of got dealt a bad hand. He's from medieval times. I don't think he's as bad as the gremlin that is Quentin, but he definitely just pulls up his trousers. Puts on his chainmail, off he goes back into battle. Next, Yoichi. I, again, know like next to nothing about Yoichi, but he always seems well kept. His hair's done, he's got that style down. He's looking good majority of the time. I'd probably put him like here. Yoichi definitely has scented toilet roll to make his bum smell pretty. No, that's Leon. That's Leon. That's the bottom energy I'm talking about, right? Leon 100% does that. Next up is Yui, the biker. I would say that she's probably like on the same level as Meg, where because they're in sweaty scenarios a lot, they get themselves clean more often than not. This is what I want to know from all of you, by the way, once this list is done, is where do you identify? Where do you feel like you sit? All right, Zarina, the amateur journalist, right? Zarina kind of has the same job as Jane, but Zarina is a lot more like, on the fly, kind of guerrilla style and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like Zarina would be like here. I feel like, she has good hygiene. She seems like someone who definitely takes care of herself, but I feel like she's too on the go to be in one of these two categories. Like, she just doesn't physically have the capabilities to do that. Don't you talk bad about my Yunjin? Well, Yunjin Lee. Now, again, I'm very biased when it comes to Yeonjin Lee because I think she's one of the worst survivors in the game. I think she's an awful person, essentially, and that's basically why I think she's one of the worst. But is she unclean? I think Yeonjin is on the same level in terms of cleanliness as what Christian Bale's character in American Psycho would be. You know, like, I feel like it's obsessive. And so I'm going to put her up here. But not as a compliment. You know, she feels like she needs to do it. Otherwise, she's going to be seen by everybody as dirty. Dwight, like Leon, has that bottom energy. So I think I'd put Dwight in the wipes with toilet paper and wet wipe. You know, because he's always shipped with David. And let's face it, in a pairing between David and Dwight would be bottom. I've got to put one guy in the top list. No, I don't. I don't have to put anybody in the top list. Everybody who's in the top list is there because I've explained exactly why they're in the top list. All right, guys, there's no guys in there that I think would be in the top list. Are we determining if Nick Cage is clean? Ooh, Nick Cage. Nick Cage has a full soapy wash routine. But that is my tier list for survivors who wash their ass. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. And this is for the YouTube guys. Twitch guys, don't ignore this just because I can't be asked to record an outro when I do this for YouTube. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with my list? And make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe if you want more stupid Dead by Daylight content just like this. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.
So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. I'm taking that crown from you.